Hello everyone and welcome to the Tomb of the Spider Queen special. Today I have 3 great games for you. It's not a best of 3 series, but we have 3 individual best of 1s and all of them took place on Tomb of the Spider Queen in the last Zote Cup. And I really love the map. It's a small map, there's a lot of aggression, there's always this back and forth that we have around the objectives, and of course we also see Azmodan a lot, which always makes for fun games. Today we have 3 great games for you. The last one probably the best of the entire setup here, but the other 2 are also pretty nice, so you should watch them all. Our first game is BOB versus the Goofers, and you already know the Goofers. We've seen them in a lot of tournaments recently and they're really starting to make their way up to the top in the European ladder. But at the same time they also changed their lineup here. They don't play with Mopsio anymore, instead they're playing with Sheep here in the tank role, and BOB is a setup or a team that consists of a lot of SK players that are playing here. So in our match today we're seeing really interesting setups and lineups for both of the teams, as we have on one hand Zagara and Nazebo being played by the Goofers, and BOB decided to go into a Kaelthas and Jaina composition, so trying to create that Song of Ice and Fire here for us and take down their opponents. So guys, without further ado, the first game coming up here on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Alright everybody, game number 1 of the day. We are looking at the Zote Cup, the round of 16 actually here at the tournament, and we have a best of 1 between the Goofers and BOB, Bob. To the left side of the map we're currently looking at the Goofers with the Kaelthas played by Lotus, Nasty is on Sylvanas, we have Sheep on Muradin here, Victis is on Jaina, and Smexy style on Malfurion. Sheep replacing Mopsio, who recently left the team, and to the right side of the map we are having for BOB a Thero Angel, we have Zarmany on Azebo, a Thero on a Nuburak, we have ADRD on Zagara, Snitch on Tychus, and Bakery on Uther. So a lot of the former SK players, if you saw one currently playing here on the side of BOB, and I'm pretty excited about this game in particular, since we have a very interesting setup for both of the teams, very aggressive actually, especially on the side of the Goofers. We have 2 mages. They are trying to create their own Song of Ice and Fire here with Kaelthas and Jaina dealing out the AoE damage, and then of course there's also a Sylvanas for the extra pushing power. And if you think this is a lot of pushing presence that they have, then you just need to look to the right team to find out that they have a very similar position here with a Nazebo, a Zagara, and also a Tychus. So this is going to be a pretty fun one, I want to say. And I'm very curious to see which team is going to be able to take the lead here. Sheep is already moving in with a stun against Tychus, but can't do too much here. Thero is in position to just zone the opponents out, but Victis is already there. As mentioned before, Mopsio, he left the team, or got, yeah, I'm not quite sure if he left or if he got kicked, if they decided to play without him in the future, but I just know that the team is now using Sheep currently here as their tank player at the front, as you can see, and Mopsio is not part of the Goofers lineup any longer. We have on the side of BOB on the other hand, Thero already moving back here, a lot of top players here, and the kill against Muradin, overextending a bit, and even with the jump he wasn't able to get away there. Snitch kinda low at this point, but not really a big issue for him. He can still go back and well up once again at the fort. Oh, and it could be a potential kill against Nasty, but Sylvanas is able to get away. But on the other hand, everybody else is extremely low, and the counter kill against Nazebo. Does Snitch have a grenade? He does not, and he goes down too. Wow, just like that. BOB overextending a bit too much, losing 2 heroes. It started off actually quite well for them with a kill against Muradin, and then they overextended a bit too much, and as you can see, lost 2 heroes in the process. So yeah, I got a bit too greedy there. Now at the bot lane, they might lose Zagara as well. Good gravity lapse. Lotus had to move away since that Hydralisk was doing quite a lot of damage, but ADRD still surviving, at least for now. And a pretty nice start into this game. Pretty aggressive setup that both of the teams are running, and they are already showcasing exactly that. On level 1, by the way, we have Harmony taken for Malfurions, not going for the extra damage against minions and mercenaries that we oftentimes see here. We have at the same time up to the top lane Smexy style onset Malfurion right now, trying to control this one. Here on level 4 could go into Elune's Grace, which is kind of the common talent to take, but so far he hasn't even picked this yet. Sylvanas still going into Envenom, and we're seeing Muradin with a bit of a hybrid build going into Sledgehammer without actually taking the perfect storm on level 1. Don't see that too often. Rampant Growth has been taken now on level 4. It's a talent that a lot of people are still discussing if it's worth anything at all, because a lot of people saying that the math just doesn't add up and that it's one of the worst talents in the game. But in this case, he takes it over Elune's Grace, which established itself as the main talent on Malfurion probably. We're seeing now also in this case on the side of Kaelthas, Netherwind taken for the extra gravity lapse over potential gathering power. I'm personally a huge fan of the Netherwind here, so I'm curious to see if you can maybe get a couple of gravity lapse setups for additional stuns of Muradin and maybe the extra damage from Jaina. But for now, the blue team is in a slight lead in experience, so they're doing quite well here. They also were able to accumulate quite a lot of gems. They have 43 at this point, and they could just try to move in with a quick turn in, but so far the blue team, or the red team, has actually done a pretty nice job of trying to deny that. They are still attempting to push into the mid lane, but we're seeing them here with also the melting point taken on level 4. Uther in this case went on 4 for another protective shield. Actually, quite often we're seeing other talents taken now. For example, you could go for the extra range and the width on the side of your wave. A wave of light that you have there. On level 1 we are seeing a Conjurer's Pursuit. It's actually kind of interesting to see that Anubarak did not go on this map in particular for the Regeneration Master talent, which is extremely popular on the hero, and especially on maps like Tomb of the Spider Queen. But we're seeing him here straight with the extended spike, so the extra range on the spikes for a Thero Angel. And right now, both of the teams still trying to make sure that they can keep their gems. But the red team has actually caught up in the gem count. They're currently starting to zone very well, and that allows them to control the gems on the map at least a bit. We're still seeing Piercing Bolts taken over here. It's the level 7 talent, but Reverberation on level 1 still. I guess probably to just lock down Tychus a bit, who could definitely be a problem later on in the game, especially in Odin. He's going for sizzling attacks now on level 7, so the extra damage for him too. And he's already putting that to some good use up at the top lane, where Victus is in trouble. Smexy Style was trying to heal him out, but the kill against Jaina successful. Everybody else is rotating over now too, and the stun of Bakery is trying to set up another kill against Malfurion, and they're getting it. A Thero Angel with a quick burrow charge for good measure. Nasty just barely getting out of harm's way in the last second, and was able to collect a few of the gems that were dropped, so that was definitely a nice move by him. We're seeing now also Enduring Growth taken on Malfurion on level 7, but we have again a slight experience lead for the red team, who were not only caught up, but also surpassed their opponents here, and they're trying to put that to the test here, turning in those gems and trying to summon the first Web Weavers. If they get those, they can maybe even establish an even greater lead, and here comes the Web Weavers descending already, and with this, they should actually be able to take a few of the towers down. If they do that, they will be able to maybe get even level 10, if they can take down maybe the wall in the mid lane and put also pressure at the top and bottom with the heroes that they have there. They could really get so far ahead in experience that an easy level 10 will drop the heroic abilities into their lap, and then they can run it from there and try to force a fight that they would surely win. But for now, we're going to take it one step at a time. Web Weavers are finally in play, and a full force attack in the middle, trying to take down Jaina successfully at that, I might add. Nice CC chain that we had there, even with a wall of zombies. Down to the bot lane, Zagara is trying to help the Web Weaver out, pushing this one in, but you can really tell that level 10 is going to hit now any second for the Goofers, sorry, for BOB, and they've been doing quite well here. The start was not really theirs. They got the early kill, but then lost 2 heroes, but they are heading kills again with a 4-to-3 kill ratio, and we're having them now moving in with not only the Web Blast, but as you can see, it's more Divine Shield. We're having Odin taken and Gary the Gargantuan on the side of Nazebo. So top lane, another pressure play against keep number 2 or fort number 2, and they are gonna make it happen here. They get the second fort, they take it down, and they are not stopping there. They annihilate exactly the mid lane, the top lane, and at the bot lane we have even pressure against the wall, completely destroyed by ADRD, who's pretty much alone on the bot lane, or has been for a long time. So a very solid position in the game now for BOB, and the only thing that the Goofers can do is just play it safe and sound, wait for level 10, and then try to fight. Of course, with Nasty now having finally also access to Unstable Poison on level 7 for his Sylvanas, he can drop these waves quite easily and has a pretty solid gem count here, 37 in total. They need to turn those in at some point, and this is one of the reasons why they're going for the hard camp here. First of all, it's something they can do before they hit level 10, or roughly at the same time, and it creates some pressure in the mid lane that BOB will probably have to react to, and if they do that, then that might open up an opportunity to turn in the gems, and that's exactly what they're doing here. But of course, they're already visible to the opponent's team thanks to the creep spread, but Sheep is getting a few in cleanse being used here. Very well done, keeps the Thero out of the stun lock. Kaelthas is down on the other hand, and a good Maw against 2, even a Web Blast being used at the same time. ADR is moving in with the Banelings, and boom, there they go. everybody obliterated. Nasty has 43 gems and he's losing all of them. And it's nearly an entire team wipe. Only Muradin is still alive, and a very, very solid performance here on the side of BOB. That last fight was all about control. They used the web blast, they used the maw, they had everybody just on one point, and then with the help of course, Tychus and especially Zagara, they were able to just drop these targets like puppets. Really, really well done. They're dropping heroes like candy in this case, so very solid performance by BOB. 13 versus 10, that's their reward for now, the extra talent that they can now use. And of course, they also denied a lot of the gems that were in the hands of the heroes on the left side of the map. So that was actually pretty cool. I think they lost about 40 gems, and that is of course huge. They didn't even get a single turn-in just yet, and it looks like we're going to see the red team with another turn-in attempt. They are only missing 9. They have 19. I guess the only one who has to move in is Zarmany, and Zarmany is already attempting to move over to the turn-in point. But at least for now, it looks like they're trying to aggro the boss already. No, they're just double-checking what's going on over there. But it looks more and more like the opponent's team is a bit afraid that they might go for boss and try to establish an even higher lead. They are 3 levels ahead already. When we're talking about the talents for the blue team, of course the Goofers running a Phoenix on Kaelthas. We're having the Water Elemental, Wailing Arrow, Tranquility and Avatar being used here. And there's still the turn-in. The Red Web Weavers are going to descend again. All of the forts are gone, and that of course just means that we are going to see an attack towards the keep right now. And if they're able to drop a keep this early in the game, that would be absolutely amazing for BOB. They are very, very strong these days. AD Ardy, after he got kicked out of Gamers 2, joined up with the team. We have 3 former SK players in here, and then also a Thera Angel. So that's a very, very strong setup that they have, and they are of course trying to make a name for themselves in the European scene right now, and they push in at the bot lane. And the Goofers are definitely not a pushover team. They've been in several finals just in the last few weeks. We have so many weekly tournaments right now that they get an opportunity nearly every day to prove themselves, and they have done so over and over again. But against BOB, they're now falling behind. Level 15 nearly versus level 12, and it's the attack against the keep. The Web Weavers up at the top and in the mid lane, even pushing in further. And nice Divine Shield against Zagara, keeping her alive even before the Living Bomb explodes. Athero is kind of low, and the kill against Sylvana as the Web Blast also being used. A good stun to follow it up, but everybody's low on the side of the Goofers. Niche is still moving in on his Odin, trying to dish out the additional damage. They haven't been able to drop the keep just yet, but with a double kill against the Goofers, they are now able to turn this into a 5 versus 3, and even with them being low in HP, they are just simply dropping the first keep. And they could actually go in for the second one in the mid lane. That's exactly what they're currently doing here. The Web Weaver is finally dealt with, but keep number 2 is now gone, and up at the top lane, as you can see, the third Web Weaver has done a lot of work at the wall, broke through the gate, took both of the towers down, and nearly eliminated the well as well. So in this case, a super, super good position that we're seeing here for the red team. They have 10 kills against 3, they still rock 30 gems, and their opponent is at 32 right now. The level 16 talents, a 2 talent lead at this point for BOB. They're currently looking at the Leaping Spiders on the Zebo. We're having after Mutalisk on level 13 now Brood expansion taken for the double Hunter Killer on Zagara, and of course for Tychus Relentless and Stone Skin on 13 and 16 to just give the hero a bit more survivability, since all the talents that we are seeing on level 1, 7 and 4 are focused on attack. These days, Tychus players don't even go for first aid anymore. Level 7 is always sizzling attacks. That's his version of the searing attacks that we're seeing, for example, on Vala. So a very, very strong setup, and a lot of damage that he can dish out with this too. Anubarak, as the sole tank of the team, decided to go into a spell shield. Pretty wise choice if you ask me, especially if you're going up against the Kaelthas and the Jaina. We have finally level 13 on the side of the Goofers, and that allows them to pick that extra talent. There's still a talent behind, and 4 levels at that. The problem is, well, the hope is for them that they could head into level 16 and then maybe exploit Kaelthas' extreme power in these fights, but that's of course a long way to go, and up to then they will most likely lose another keep too. But the boss is already being attacked up at the top lane. They move into the throw pit, but I just don't really think that it's going to be an issue for them. With level 13 versus level 17, they have such a huge lead that there's just no way for this to be contested. Boss goes down, easy peasy, and this is of course going to put even more pressure onto the top lane, which is the last lane that is still spotting a keep for the blue team. And right now in damage, just look at Tychus, he's at 10,000, Zebo at 20,000, Zagara at 20,000 damage against heroes. Very solid. Tychus, by the way, has 92,000 siege damage. That is more than Sylvanas has so far. So absolutely incredible the number of siege damage that he puts out there. And they're going for the keep. They're trying to make this a really short game. And that's what you have to do in Heroes of the Storm. You really have to push your advantage, because once level 20 is reached, it just means that you will fight with your opponent on even talents the entire game. So you try to exploit the early leads that you get, and that's exactly what BOB is currently doing here. They're moving in and trying to take down the core already. They have another blue web weaver set that is pushing against them this time. The blue team could, with this, at least give them a bit of deep push, but it might not be enough. You can really tell that those web weavers are not even able to push through the middle of the map. Two of them are already gone. The one at the bot lane has to face catapults right now, which is not easy either. And up here in the mid lane, that's where we have the heroes fighting once again. The water elemental is taken out nearly immediately, so Victus is not even getting any value out of this one with his Jaina. And talking about Jaina, Jaina might be in a bit of trouble here. Sheep just for now attempting to zone them out. A good root on Malfurion here, but as you can see, there's not really too much that they can accomplish with this. A good Maw against two. Zarmany, on the other hand, is low. Snitch jumps into the breach. Zarmany alive for now, and thanks to Odin and the rest of the heroes, they're getting an early kill against Jaina here, and they just start to push in, take down Malfurion. Snitch is dashing forward, and now they try to finish the game. With Odin still in play, they can dish out a lot of damage against the core already, but they might not be able to finish it. It's still pretty early in the game with level 14, 15-minute mark, but there's still 5 heroes alive for the red team. BOB is doing well here, and they are, of course, putting all that damage to work right now. Another Phoenix for the zoning. Nasty is low, gets web blasted. They're trying to buy a bit more time, and they're doing a great job at that. The kill against Sylvanas, and this is probably the final kill in the game. There it is. The GG as the core goes down, and BOB advances over the Goofers here at the Zote Cup.
BOB, they take the first game here, well, the first game of the video, of course, but they win it against the Goofers. They take them down, and they had a really solid setup here. I mean, the performance of BOB was just great. They actually came a long way in most of the tournaments that they participated in the last few weeks, even though I have to admit that we didn't cast too many of their games here on the channel. But right now, as you can see, these guys are really good. Against the Goofers, they take the victory here, and they kind of make it look easy at times. Now they are going up against their next opponents. Actually, again, Tomb of the Spider Queen, of course, and it's once more BOB, but this time they are going up against Alternate Fancy. And we are seeing Azmodan. BOB, they used Azmodan, and they use him together with an Azebo here for pushing power, and they have a double heal besides that as well. So double healer line up for BOB together with Azmodan and Azebo, trying to just like get into that late game and push all of that damage out. And on the side of their opponents, we're currently looking at a Lily. The draft is a little bit wrong. It's of course not a double Lily that they're running here, but a Lily and a Vala together with a Zagara, with a Sylvanas. So a lot of pushing power. A lot of wave clear that they have with that. A lot of pushing power in the Mirrodin at the front line to keep the back line safe. So this is the setup that Alternate Fancy is trying to use here to really shut down that Azmodan composition of BOB. And we're going to find out right now if they can make that happen, or if BOB is able to win once more into the Spider Queen. Next game coming up right now here on Khaldor TV.
The game is on, ladies and gentlemen. We have Tomb of the Spider Queen once again, and to the left side of the map it is BOB with a Thero Angel on Johanna, Bakery on Uther, Zarmany on Azebo, Snitch on Malfurion to complete the double heal setup that BOB is running here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and ADRD is playing Azmodan. So, going for the stacking process here, and to the right side of the map we have their opponent, which is Alternate Fancy here at the Zote Cup. As you can see, Bloomby is playing Mirrodin. We have Krolu on Lily, because, well, in this case there was a huge, first of all, a double pick on the heals and also one band out. Devis is playing Sylvanas, Darkmok, Vala, and Crosby is playing Zagara. So a lot of heroes that are very strong on Tomb of the Spider Queen in particular, especially that Zagara is going to try to always keep vision on those two turn-in spots so that they can make sure that they deny those to their opponent. With an Azmodan in the game, you know the drill. Early game is where you are kind of weak because you need to get those stacks in. You always go for Taste for Blood here on level 1, and that's the most important part. Trying to get that Jaina into position and Azmodan with the stacking process. This is exactly what they're currently trying to do, but we already have an attempt of counterplay. Trying to screw with the stacking process early on in the game, keeping Azmodan low, keeping his damage low, and just delaying that time when Azmodan is really going to unfold his full strength. We have Jaina here on the Tyriel Charger. I'm still not 100% certain if I like the mount or if I don't, but it looks pretty epic on some of the heroes. I'm just not sure if I should gut for that. Is my wallet really ready? I don't know. Well, for now we have at the bot lane a huge power play. A lot of pressure here from the 4 heroes that we're seeing for Alternate Fancy. Pushing this to the left and trying to, of course, take not only a tower down, but also deplenish the ammunition on the remaining ones. Azmodan is actually struggling a little bit with the stacking here. Jaina is trying to help out, but this is going to be a pretty slow process for ADRD, so we're not going to see one of those super fast 200, 300 stacks on the side of Azmodan. The double healer setup should put BOB in a position though where they are able to really reach the late game. But if you then once again check out the composition that we are seeing on the side of Alternate Fancy, with especially Zagara and Sylvanas in the same team, you have a lot of pushing power, and that's what they're trying to use at the bot lane already. If they have both of these heroes on the same lane, they can do so much, and Lili is helping out with that now too. For Lili we still have Conjurer's Pursuit on level 1, the same talent that Uther also picked here. And with double heal, they should even be able, or BOB should be able to make something happen here in the mid game and maybe even get their own Web Weavers descending. Normally when you play against Azmodan, one of the key elements on this map is to really deny the turn-ins to your opponent. Again, the attempt to get a few of the stacks, but you can really tell that the process is rather slow. It's not really the fast push between, or the fast like jump between 2 lanes. Normally we see 3 to 4 heroes just roaming between the middle and the top lane together with Azmodan and trying to catch every single wave. And Azmodan is really relying a lot on the early waves. If he gets a few of those, then he's in a good spot, but this alone only gave him 2, and if you just look at the extra damage, we're currently looking at 30 extra damage on Azmodan. It's not really something where you can be proud of 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the game, but it is going to be a bit of a slower process, and we've been talking about this already. With Alternate Fancy running a Muradin, running this push setup, they knew from the beginning that they would be able to just shut Azmodan down a bit. It's just a question of can they really push enough so that they capitalize on that. And that's what Alternate Fancy is currently trying to do. We're having them even with the Mending Serpent on the side of Lili, trying to get the extra healing power out. Because the one thing that the push into Lili really did for BOB is that it denied area heal. Lili is relying a lot on heroic ability when it comes to the area heal, and that's the only thing that she can really use to negate the damage on the Azmodan globes if they, in the late game, hit several heroes. Just simply going for her normal jugs is not going to be too much. She could go into, I guess, the 2-for-1 talent later on. That would probably be a good choice here. Normally we don't see that being taken that as often anymore. Herbal Cleanse is way more important to most teams. But in this particular setup, I could still see the 2-for-1 taken just to help against the Azmodan damage. Azmodan, by the way, is struggling a bit up at the top lane and had to move back. Another Haunting Wave, actually putting him even in more trouble. A 4-player rotation. Alternate Fancy is playing a very solid game here. Azmodan with another hit is making this work, at least for now. We have Elune's Grace and Malfurion, who took the extra damage against minions and mercenaries on level 1, as already expected, of course. I mean, that's a great talent to take here on the map, but so far the Malfurion players today have kind of neglected it a bit and went into Harmony instead. We're having Vala going straight into a multi-shot build for additional pushing power. Just having composite arrows and arsenal on level 1 and level 4 gives you so much presence in the lane itself, and pushing is going to be very important for them. Because if Azmodan reaches the late game and gets those 500 stacks together, he can do a lot of work, and especially against low HP heroes like Sylvanas, Zagara, and also, of course, Sylvanas, you will be able to do a lot with that. Good turn-ins, by the way, here on the side of BOB. Turning 38 gems in already. The level 7 talent is hitting faster though for their opponents, but only a very small time window that they really can't capitalize on. We're having now again Shake It Off taken on level 7 for Lili, the standard talent for the hero, and Endless Creep for Zagara, who of course is going to try and make an attempt to control the middle of the map with her vision. We've been talking about this earlier. Very good hero on Tomb of the Spider Queen. It's a very small map and you can get a lot of vision and control in the mid lane if you're running a Zagara that really knows knows what she's doing and is focusing on that creep spread a lot. It's also one of the reasons why we don't have rapid incubation on level 7, but instead endless creep taken here. And that's where Malfurion is going to come into play, because he will have to use his Moonfire to get this done. AD already at the top lane, still working towards the stacks. One of the crucial points is, oh, nearly the kill against Darkmook. Really well done here. But yeah, Darkmook for now, and Vala can just move away, and Blumby is already moving in. Blumby, by the way, going for this, I want to call it a hybrid build, where you still use Sledgehammer on level 4, but you go still into Reverberation on level 1. And I'm not 100% certain why he went into Reverberation, to tell you the truth. Since we don't have a lot of heroes that rely on their auto attacks, I actually think that's a bit of a mistake here by him. Normally you would have expected to go into the Perfect Storm, which is becoming a lot more popular. The entire Stormbolt build is very popular these days, but I don't really think there's a hero on the lineup of BOB that requires him to go into Reverberation. It might have been that he just like automatically kinked on the talent because he's so used to it. Well, very well done here. Zarmini got cleansed and not stunned therefore, and AD already trying to supply some damage in those fights, which also of course means that it further slows down his stack progression. But yeah, in this case, the game currently paused. That's actually a good timing for us, because it allows us to talk a bit about the talents. So yeah, Blumby, I guess it's probably just like really a choice that he didn't make a mistake with the level 1 talent, but I'm still a bit surprised by it. I don't really feel like he needed to go into this, and if you stack up damage on your Stormbolt, then you get so much more out of Sledgehammer. On a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen, this is actually worth quite a lot. But either way, Muradin is going to play a huge role here as a great tank to have in this setup, and one of his main jobs is going to be to keep the backline safe. Azmodan is currently looking at, let me double check the stacks here, he's currently at 108 stacks. That's actually pretty solid. They're not on level 10 yet, they're on level 9, so we're currently looking at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So it's not too bad for him just now, still got a fair amount of stacks together, and the more important part really is that you are hitting 80. Because once you have your Black Pool on level 10, which is just a must-have talent if you go into an Azmodan build, you need 80 stacks to just kill an entire wave if you hit it properly with your Black Pool and one Orb of Annihilation. So in this case, this is exactly what they're trying to go for, but they already have more than that, and they're still working on it. As this point, you can really see that for him, pushing is really important, and he tries to take down that wall as fast as he can. The Web Weavers are descending for the blue team, and we're still having the red team, Alternate Fancy, a bit closer to level 10 than their opponents, but right now they're jumping in. Another good hit here with the Orb. Those globes are doing work, and now level 10 should hit any second for the blue team, who's currently pressuring the bot lane with 2 heroes, Zarmini and Snitch. Snitch, by the way, rocking still 25 gems. We'll have to turn those in pretty soon. And here's the level 10. Of course it is Black Pool, Tranquility, Gargantuan, Divine Shield and Blessed Shield. A lot of shields here, the Captain America build if you so want. Later on we could even see a couple of Storm Shields, I suppose. But up at the top lane, again, Ethero, Angel in position. He might even be trying to turn in again now that that he can. Again, a good hit. And at this point, AD is really going to be doing a lot of work when pushing lanes. He can easily take down an entire wave. Just look at that. Hits that and hits it hard. Gets a lot of stacks for his hero here. And of course, this is going to not only put a lot of siege damage into his hands, but also push the lanes back so that Alternate Fancy will not really have this control that they usually have in the early game. I want to highlight that Snitch is doing an amazing job here denying the creep tumors, by the way. Endless creep has been taken, and you've seen this bottom lane earlier where there was creep everywhere, and Crosby is really putting a lot of effort into doing that again. But we have Snitch just using his Moonfire spam all the time to make sure that the vision that we're seeing for Alternate Fancy in this game is reduced as much as possible. So Malfurion and the rest of the heroes doing a great job when it comes down to counteracting Zagara's play. Once again, a decent hit here. 2 additional stacks for Azmodan and taking down one of the creep tumors. But they still have to face the music now, and in this case, that's the Web Weavers jumping in. Heroic abilities are there with the Maw, Strafe, Wailing Arrow, the Jug of 1,000 Cups. Oh, the Maw! The Monster Maw! Oh, and the Silence Arrow! The kill attempt against Nazeebo, but everybody gets away. That was a big one, though. That nearly took them down here. Really well played, and Snitch with the quick tranquility, keeping everybody alive there. They still work against that setup of Alternate Fancy, and I have to give some credit here to BOB. They're playing a solid game here, but Alternate Fancy, they are not done. They have the Web Weavers moving in at the bot lane and up at the top, and they put so much pressure onto the mid lane that there's no way for BOB to take care of the top or bottom lane at all. This could be a kill against Malfurion. Maybe against... No, they don't even get Jaina. I can't believe it. Sylvanas, 3 heroes down. Muradin down. Sylvanas down. And Lily dead. But not a single hero dying here for BOB, even though Malfurion and Johanna were about to drop and basically had no hit points left whatsoever. Great play here for BOB. Really good fight for them. And very close one at that as well. ADRD here, let's look at the numbers for him real quick. He's currently at 184. We're nearly 10 minutes into the game, and you can really tell that this is not as much a focus of Azmodan getting his stacks done as them just trying to control the middle of the lane, trying to push out. Azmodan is going to get his stacks eventually, but it's not really that power stacking play that we oftentimes see from other teams that are really focusing their entire attention only on Azmodan. ADRD, and again with a globe, and as mentioned before, with Blackpool now, he has a much easier time getting things done here. Another tower dead, and the second one also being attacked now with level 13 in the hands of BOB, the blue team doing well. We're going for March of Sin for Azmodan, so they can use his All Shall Burn while moving, an extremely important talent. If you don't feel like you have to go for Relentless, then this is definitely the weapon of choice. We have Malfurion going not only into Enduring Growth, but also Life Seed here, so he's not really afraid to drop Ice Block, because he doesn't really think that he needs it, and I don't really see a reason for him to use it, unless of course Muradin would play overly aggressive, but there's very little follow-up for additional stun, so I don't really think he has to. When we're looking at the 13 talents that are coming out now for the red team, for Alternate Fancy, we're seeing them already with a Hindering Winds taken, so even a slow on the E, and of course it's a whole ton of spell shields here. If you're going up against an Azmodan and then also in the Zebo, spell shields are really what you want to get, and there's one on Muradin, another one on Sylvanas, and one on Vala now too. ADRD still trying to get even more hits with his globe, but keep in mind that those blue web weavers are once again in play and starting to pressure the lanes now. Also interesting to see that we have 82 gems on the side of the red team, and they have to make sure that they are able to hold on to those. If they lose 1 or 2 heroes now and they drop the gems, that would be the nightmare scenario for them. Top lane push with 5 heroes. Good stun again by Bloomby, but this fort is not going to make it. Not with everybody just focusing it down and the bot lane still pushing in, so Darkmock has to rotate over there. He's the one that has most of the gems, by the way, for his team. The blue web weavers with a successful kill up at the top already, and now we really need to see especially the mid lane defending, because, well, the web weavers over here have been de-pushed. The mid lane is where we are seeing BOB focusing their attack upon next. They're trying to drop another fort. Good hit again by Azmodan. And down to the bot lane, it looks like Darkmock is done with the defense here, keeping this fort alive, but they do not have a mule, so they cannot use that. Oh, look at that, Zarmany not getting mauled here at all. The jump in, Johanna is there, Darkmock, they're trying to slow him down. Gary the Gargantuan is on the move. 60 gems by now on the side of Vala, but this looks very much like the fort might be falling to ADRD with another good glow, but maybe a bit of extra damage. Trying to hit it, and he hits the 40, he hits the wave, and he takes that down easily. Level 15 versus level 14, 3 kills against 0. That was the one battle that we saw earlier, and Vala was able to just sneak down to the bottom turn-in spot, turn those in, and now they have a few web weavers for themselves that they can rely upon. Talking about things that you can rely upon, we have the stacks currently at 292, so closing in on the 300, and that will of course make it so much easier for Azmodan to really be of help in those team fights. And let's talk a bit about the team fight potential here. We're having 22,000 damage already on Azmodan, which is actually quite solid considering that we're only 13 minutes into the game. 28,000 for Nazebo, and looking on the side of the opponent's team, oh, that was a good hit. Crosby, of course, eating a lot of the damage here now too. He's on his Zagara at 24,000 damage. Sylvanas is at 28. Also is currently taking, well, nearly taking the lead in siege damage with 87,000. Vala being a close third, as Azmodan is the one that already surpassed 90,000 siege damage. But thanks to the web weavers, there's the attack now at the bot lane, and we're having a fort dropping. Alternate Fancy does not give up, and there's no reason for them to, but they are behind in talents again, and that of course doesn't really allow them to go into a team fight. At least it's not going to favor them if there is a team fight. So we have now again the Lunar Shower taken on the move fire, so that it gets reduced here and increases the damage as well with the stacks. We have also for Azmodan Imposing Presence, a double Imposing Presence actually, and considering that we have a Zagara, a Vala and a Sylvanas in the game, that's not too bad. Like, there's a lot of range damage that we are seeing here, a lot of auto attack damage, so going for Imposing Presence makes sense. Good double stun for Bloomby here. And I'm actually like, he must be pretty sad that every single stun that he hits out now is not giving him additional damage on his Stormbolt because he went on level 1 for Reverberation. Not a bad talent by any means, but if you go Sledgehammer, at least when I play Mirrodin, I'm always counting every single Stormbolt that I hit because it's just such a pleasure if in the late game you can suddenly do 2,000, 2,500 damage with a single Stormbolt against structures or against mercenaries. Blumby is extremely low here though. He needs to be careful, he needs to heal and he needs it fast. Here comes the heal from Lily moving in with heroic ability, but this level 16 talent is finally in play. 2 for 1 taken to negate some of the Azmodan damage. The problem is Vala is already dead in this battle. Everybody getting really low, and another good hit of ADRD. Crosby is nearly down on the Zagara, and it looks like we have another kill this time against Sylvanas and against Lily. BOB is currently in full control of the game, and they are trying to rush down the bot lane now to drop at least the wall here. Azmodan the only one moving back because he hits another big globe here, doing a lot of damage and of course getting those stacks in again. And currently in the stacking process, to keep you boys updated, we're having him at 362. So it's not really that he's going to hit the maximum anytime soon, but he's already working with the team here. He's hitting a lot of those in or during the team fights. We have at least Cold Embrace on the side of Sylvanas now. Maybe that's what they need to really drop a target, but it's of course pretty late in the game. They haven't lost the keep yet though. Well, actually they have. They have lost the bottom keep. That's the only one. Can they save the dwarf? Looks like they can. Talking about damage, 28,000 still on the side of Azmodan. He's really focusing a lot on the creep waves still, taking down the minions, but every single globe that he hits now against heroes does a solid amount of damage, so he is really of use to the team in this regard. If you look at the heal, by the way, we have on the side of Malfurion alone 33,000 heal and 22,000 for Uther, and if you then look at Lily, she's currently stuck at 34,000, trying of course to get that into the game. The important part to notice about Lily when we're talking about the hero is that level 20 is a massive boost for Lily. If you go for Kung Fu Hustle, not only do you get a reduction on the cooldown for your not for Pitch Perfect, but of course for your Shake It Off, but you also have that for the cups that you can always get out. The 2 for 1 is going to benefit greatly from that, and also your heroic ability. He got nerfed in the last patch a bit, but it's still a very strong talent to take, and Lily just turns into a completely different hero on level 20. So that's something that they can try to work towards, but the problem for them is that by then ADRD will have those 500 stacks ready, and they might not even get to level 20 because currently BOB is really putting in the pressure, and up at the top lane, the bot lane is being pushed in the mid lane as well as the web weavers are descending once again, and here they come once more. Another big globe hitting here. Azmodan is doing his job, and we see back in the back line Darkmog with a good strafe. Can he get a kill maybe? No, Zarmany gets healed. We have at the front line Blumby trying to go for another attack. He goes into Avatar form. We have the stun against Lily dropping out of the heroic ability, but she nearly got all of the damage in anyways. Very late stone form from Mirrodin. That was a bit of a mistake. Using it way too late and not getting any value out of it. And a triple, a quadruple, a quintuple kill. And this is going to be game, ladies and gentlemen. Well played by BOB. They will move on towards the semi-final of the Zote Cup. A super solid performance here. They take the game on Tomb of the Spider Queen with their Azmodan composition. They are rocking in this case. Very well done by BOB. Just a bit stronger than Alternate Fancy on this map right now. So congratulations to them, and we will see them again in the semi-final of the Zote Cup.
And BOB successful again on Tomb of the Spider Queen, this time with Azmodan. And you could really tell that it was not that focus on the stacking process that we saw here on their side. Azmodan getting those stacks up in the late game then and really helping the team out. But at the beginning it was not really that roaming that we saw on the map that we oftentimes see happening there with an Azmodan composition. But AD already playing it a little bit more slow with this Azmodan here. They were able to succeed though. And of course this is the second game that BOB was able to win. And we're going into the third game now on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and this time we're having Kinguin face beat our makers, or BOB as they call themselves right now. And it is a bit of a twist here because we suddenly have Kinguin with Azmodan. They chose Azmodan, and BOB, using him successfully in the last game, have now in the third game on this map try to find some kind of like tool that they can use against Azmodan, and they are going to try to use a Stitches together with a Tyrande and an Uther, trying to get that hook in, pull a target towards Stitches and then stun it out with Uther and with Tyrande to get those snipes in. One of the reasons why this is happening is because we are seeing Kinguin going into a double tank role. They started out with a Jaina, great for the Azmodan stacking, and then they realized that going up against the Tyrande Muradin would probably be a big issue for them, so they decided to pick Muradin last, pick it away from their opponents, and BOB found themselves in a bit of a weird situation and decided to play Stitches. And that Stitches combination with Stitches Tyrande or Stitches Uther has been extremely popular in the past, but it kind of fell off a bit because other tanks just fill that role much better. Stitches can still be good in this setup though, and we're going to find out if BOB can make that happen, or if that Azmodan composition that we're seeing for Kinguin right now is going to give BOB a taste of their own medicine that they used in the last game to take down Alternate Fantasy. So guys, get ready, Tomb of the Spider Queen coming up once again.
Alright everybody, welcome to another game on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and this one is going to be fun. I can already tell you that much. To the left side of the map we're currently seeing Kinguin. They go up against BOB here in the semi-final of the Zote Cup. We have Nepse on Rhaegar, Snow on Azmodan, Invidum on Kaelthas, Nurok on Johanna, and Get Amherd with a bit of a douchebag move here, picking Muradin away on the last pick from their opponent's setup. And that is pretty cool. We're going to talk about that in a second. But let's first introduce our players to the right side of the map. It is BOB with AD on Zagara. We have Snitch on Tyrande, a Thero Angel on Stitches. Stitches wants to play. Zarmony on Azebo, and Bakery on Uther. So the draft was a lot of fun actually. I mean, the entire setup was already leaning towards an Azmodan composition for Kinguin, and they went into Azmodan here. And at the same time, the way that the draft worked with an early pick of Johanna by Kinguin, we already saw that with an Uther, with a Tyrande, there was really the attempt to go into that strong early game sniper squad with Muradin, and then also, of course, Tyrande. But the last pick... Oh! There's actually the attempt to get a kill! No. The hit hits, yeah, the hit hits too, but like, yeah, the hook hits, of course. And the stun after that didn't. But yeah, the entire idea was for a long time that maybe we are going to see some kind of damage dealer or some kind of deep push hero on the side of Kinguin as a last pick. A Tychus would have been an option that we've seen in the past, because with his... there's another attempt. Yeah, they're not really getting the timings down cold. But as I said, like a Tychus would have been, for example, an option, because you can use Tychus to defend against your opponent's push lineup. Against Azmodan, it's very popular to go for strong push heroes. We see Zagara, we see Nazebo. So those are heroes that you can really use to just like push in a lane. And if you have a Thor on level, or an Odin on level 10, then yeah, just in general, Tychus can really just sit next to a fort, next to a keep, use his heroic ability, and stop that push by the opponent and just wait it out, or just destroy the web weavers if your opponent is trying to push in with that. But instead of going for a Tychus or any kind of other deep push hero, like your potential Vala or maybe a Sylvanas, they took the Muradin away. And that forced all of a sudden their opponent's team into a Stitches. And Stitches isn't actually bad with this setup, just because Stitches can be used in this case to get a hook in, and then of course you need that follow-up with either Uther going for a stun, or on the other hand then Snitch with a stunned attempt on Tyrande. And they've been trying to do that a couple of times right now, but their timings are off a little bit. This is like one of the setups that we've seen in the past a lot. Stitches Tyrande, Stitches Uther was one of the most common combinations for a long time, and that's of course exactly what they're going to try and utilize here. And that also means that in the later stages of the game you still have a shot. That's something that Na'Vi has showcased in the past, where they were able to defeat a late game Azmodan composition with the Stitches because of one of those long distance hooks. So this is going to be a pretty awesome game here. The late game is really where Azmodan shines. We all know that. That's something we don't have to talk about. Good kill, by the way, against Sylvanas that we already saw here. Oh, talking about kills, an attempt in the mid lane to go for another one. But once more, Snitch not hitting those stuns. He really needs to get those stuns in there. Azmodan is already starting the stacking process. We're having, by the way, now Shadow Wolf taken on level 4 after Spirit Walker's Grace was used to reduce the mana costs on the chain heal. And the important thing to note here is really that with the setup that we're seeing for Team BOB, we also have them with a very weak healer. And now, of course, the Uther fans are immediately going to cry out at me like, what? He just called him a weak healer, but oh, there's the stun, and they dodge the second one. Gravity Lapse being used, Snow moves in, and no kill just yet. But what did I mean when I said that Uther is a weak healer? Uther has great utility. He has good stuns, he has a Divine Shield, he has, in this case, also a Protective Shield that he can use. So he has great utility, and with Benediction he can really get some burst heals out there too. The problem is that if you compare him to a healer like Malfurion, who was banned out in the game, or Rhaegar, who on level 13 and 16 gets a lot of healing power during team fights, he can't really negate a lot of area of effect damage. So if Azmodan is in the late game getting those globes against 2 or 3 heroes, then Uther is going to struggle to really heal that out. If he works overtime, he can definitely do his best to use that. This could be the kill that they've been waiting for, maybe against Kaelthas. No gravity lapses there. Even with a triple stun comp, they don't get the kill in just yet. But yeah, Uther will have a pretty tough time in the late game to really contest Rhaegar's heal, or at least like heal out the damage that Azmodan does. He will have a bigger problem than a potential Rhaegar would have had, but of course he offers other advantages to the team that in this case BOB just valued higher, and that is that utility that I was talking about a little bit earlier. So right now we're having also a damage build on Tyrande, because they realize that they need a bit more single target damage if they really want to drop the targets that Tychus is gonna hook, and that means that we're having Searing Arrows taken now on level 4. Up here to the top, they try to go for Nepsa, but the Shadow Wolf helps him out, of course, with the added invisibility. Talents in general, we're having Reverberation taken for Muradin against Zagara, and the auto attacks, that really helps. Also helps, of course, against a few of the other heroes here. You could have gone into a Stormbolt build, I suppose, but Gare decides that with his Thunderclap, he's going to be of much more use to the team. Level 7 hits a bit faster now on the side of the red team, of BOB, and another good hook, but Snitch is just not getting those stuns in. I mean, in this case, it wouldn't really have mattered too much, since Nurok immediately activating the trait and could easily move out there, so it didn't matter if the stun hits or not. But still, it's something where they really need to get a kill in, and that might be it! They go for Johanna again, but Nurok gets healed, and a good body block by Invidium on Snowy. So on level 7, we have the Rapid Incubation on Zagara up to the bot lane. Of course, Gitbin used for Nazebo. A cleanse on both sides, since also Rhaegar plus Uther both went into cleanse, and they really need that talent. And we're having also the Fission Bomb, and of course Azmodan is still going for the stacks here. And talking about the stacks, we're having now at 66 in the game. We're still 5 minutes in, and we're currently at level 7, so the stacking process not going as fast as we are oftentimes used to on this map in particular. But still, he gets the stacks in, and he's working towards those, that milestone, that 80 stacks that you need to clear an entire wave with the Black Pool taken on level 10 solo without getting any help. We have a bit of a difference here on level 7, by the way. We have Sins Exposed taken by Nurok's Johanna. Oftentimes Conviction is the talent that teams are focusing on. Red Web Weavers are descending first. And I'm really happy that we are seeing so many Tomb of the Spider Queen games today. Like, very different matches that we've seen so far. I love that Stitches is getting a chance to play again. It was, of course, forced out by the opponent, but still, in this case, Stitches makes a lot of sense with this combo. But they really have to just put it to some use. They didn't get a single kill with it yet, but keep in mind that especially later in the game, it's going to be of a lot value if you get one of those long distance hooks in. Down here, having Aethera Angel and Snitch trying to take over. Zagara gets taken out. That was, by the way, the second kill for King Ruin that we already have here. At the top lane, we have the Web Weavers dealt with by Snow, Nurok, and Nepsa. But down here, we still see Snitch with a potential stun. There comes the stun actually against Stitches, and the hook dodged by Gadam. He was waiting for this one. This was just one of those Captain Obvious hooks that was sent out there. And Bakery and Aethera didn't really, or Snitch didn't really get that set up there. But Ged, of course, had to use his jump here. They're still going through the wall, and that will give them a slight lead in experience. Mid lane, this is where Zagara rotated over after being revived, and level 10 is going to hit pretty soon now for them. But still no hook. Down into the bot lane, Gerd is... They have a lot of gems, by the way. It's 80 gems against 44 now in favor of Team Kinguin. But they, of course, have to turn those in. And Nepsa is in a bit of trouble against Nazebo, but even the use of Gary the Gargantian did not drop Nepsa on Rhaegar yet. Down here we have AD already pushing Gerd back, and the Aethera Angel is already starting to rotate over, but the hook attempt against Kaelthas was just a bit too short. This one, on the other hand, is a really good one, and they might get the kill against Invidium. Nope, Johanna is there with the Condemn to put them out of position. And I think BOB is getting a bit mad here right now. At least I know that I would. Oh, the kill against Tyrande! 3 points for Snow. He gets that in. God, they must be frustrated. They don't get the kills with their hook attempts. But in that, they lose Tyrande to this one. And they might lose Zagara again at the bot lane. The Maw being used. And here comes the next dunk. Great throw by Snow. Gets this one in. Can they kill Muradin? No, they cannot. Yeah, they might. They might. Stun. Nothing. And another big hit. Oh my god. King Green is really frustrating them right now, aren't they? Divine Shield being used, and he's trying to rush away. Can Athero move away as well? Snow with a kill. 3 for 3 now, gets 3 kills in. Athera Angel actually just barely surviving here. They got the gems, at least they didn't lose too many of those, but still, this is of course a bit of a nightmare scenario here now. 5 kills early on in the game for the Azmodan composition, whereas the Stitches sniper squad has not gotten a single kill just yet. That's really not what you want to see at 9 minutes into the game. And talking about our all-favorite brother, our Asmo bro, we have him currently on 166 stacks. So yeah, he's really getting the works in here, isn't he? Could already get a few kills in for his team, doing well with that. We're having at the top lane. Oh, there was actually a quick hook against Gerd. Not really the target that you want to get, but maybe if they can force the lockdown. Nah, they can't. So they are still trying to do their best here. Duh, of course they are. But still, they need a kill, and they need it soon. Of course, the later the game goes, the higher the death timers are, the more value you get out of a kill. So far, they still keep up in experience, which is the more important part. But you kind of want to... You want to be the team that is ahead in experience if you're going up against Azmodan. And they are far away from that happening. So they need to get the Web Weavers in. They need to just make something happen. A couple of kills would go a long way here. And up here at the top, Nazeebo is getting attacked already. Gerd is starting to move away. Nurok with 33 of his gems could try and turn those in. And he is trying to. This is the setup that they need. And the first kill for them in the game. A really good one. Nurok aborted the turn-in process and tried to make something happen here. Putubal already used the Maw setup. This is it. They want to have Nurok. They want to have Nurok bad, and they get him. They get Johanna after killing Rhaegar. Well done here. Really well done, actually. Nearly the kill against Snitch, but Bakery is there with a quick heal, helping out Snitch, and that was exactly what they needed. They have level 13 faster, they can turn in, and also they were able to take at least a few of the gems away from Kingery. Not all of them, since we still have 76 for them, but the Web Weavers are descending again for the red team, so they are starting to make this happen here. They are starting to find their rhythm with the hooks and the stuns, and of course keep in mind that on level 16 they're going to get the extended range on the hook, thanks to the fishing hook talent, and that is going to be a super important one for them to take. Right now, it surprises me a little bit that we do not see more spell shields. Of course you want to go for Mutalisk or one of those Hunter-Killer talents on Zagara on level 13, but still, not running a spell shield against a Kaelthas Azmodan composition, that shows some balls, or it just shows that you're batshit crazy. And we're gonna find out later on which one it is for ADRD. We have Overflowing Light, of course, for Tyrande, Stitches going into Relentless, and at least one Ice Block for Nazeebo. The fight happening once again. The Web Weaver is pushing at the bot lane, up here at the top. Gerd is trying to get away, gets healed, but it's too late. It is too late. Neptune with the ancestral healing attempt, but down goes Muradin. Nurok is extremely low, so is Invidum. Nurok needs to get away somehow. Athero, does he have the cooldown ready? No, he does not. They push them away, they get their kills, and now all of a sudden there's a lot more danger that we're seeing coming in. ADRD is taking down the wall. That's a very important wall to take down, because your opponent will not be able to see when you move in towards the throw pit. We have down here the Web Weaver still doing its thing. Johanna actually is still moving back there. They're trying to go for the boss right away, but I actually think that this is a pretty bold move, to be honest with you. There's level 13 now available also for the opponent's team with the Flamethrower. We're having, in this case, also Healing Surge taking a Relentless for Azmodan over the March of Sin. Hold your ground, and they just simply take it. They take the boss. There was no congestion there. Very well done. It was a bit of a ballsy move, but they made it happen, and it just looked like Kingery was expecting them to take the hard camp, the bruiser camp, but not the boss. So just like that, we have a complete shift in the game towards the red team. BOB is playing this really well. We could have seen, by the way, another spell shield on the side of Uta. I wouldn't have been surprised to see that there. But when they are going up against that double tank squad, then the Shrink Ray is also going to be quite important and really helpful. So the boss is attempting to go up through the top wall, and you can really tell how much damage this bad boy is already doing. When we're seeing the mid lane being attacked by the rest of the team. Azmodan, yeah, they took down the entire wall. Azmodan is currently at 250 stacks, to give you a bit of an update of how far into the game he is. Talking about Nazeebo, by the way, he's at 140 243 Death Ritual stacks. To keep you updated with this one as well, and only focus on Azmodan here, even though he's of course the bit more important hero to focus the attention on. So we have at the same time now, in terms of like damage, let's have a look at Azmodan. He's currently rocking the 26,000. That's, by the way, the highest damage for the team. Hero damage on Rhaegar, by the way, is 986. 13 minutes into the game, he didn't even pass the 1,000 hero damage mark. Wow. So yeah, always staying in the back line there, trying to not die, which he successfully did up to that fight that we saw just now at the top. 16 talent is ready for the red team. BOB is in this case rocking, of course, once again the Brute expansion, having them also with the Shooting Star, the Fishing Hook taken, the Leaping Spiders, and the very strong Benediction. ADRD is already trying to, at the bot lane, utilize his own skills to make sure that they have another Siege Giant camp pushing in. Turn-ins are already underway, so they're attempting to hit... They could actually go for another turn-in on ADRD and then easily just get another Web Weaver wave, and that would start to threaten the keeps. All of the forts are gone. All of them. It's 5 kills versus 3, and of course the stacking process is still ongoing for Snow on his Azmodan, but they really need to start pushing back soon, because now the Red Web Weavers are descending again, and that means we might see a kill on a keep. And with Azmodan and any kind of composition that you use in this case, it's always important that you try to reach level 16 without losing too many of your keeps. And 16 is not on the board just yet. 16 is a bit of a landmark. It's an arbitrary, like, an arbitrary milestone. In this case, just using it because Kaelthas is of course going to hit his power spike there, and Azmodan will have a solid amount of heals or a solid amount of damage by then as well. But the problem is they will lose structures to this attack. And the only question is how many of their keeps will go down. And that's the important one, because there's still no 16 talent and it will hit in a few seconds. That's going to help them with the defense, but it's going to hit too late. Good damage here, for sure, but the Phoenix is already in place. There's the level 16 talent. Oh, the hook! And the miss on the... Oh, the miss on the stun again. Tyrande just not getting those in this time. Snitch must have been partying a lot yesterday. I think he's still trying to sleep it off here, because, well, he hasn't been hitting a lot of those. Timing might be a bit off here, but on the other hand, it's also quite difficult. We had a lot of good jukes here on the side of the opponent's team, so it's not only like Snitch. I don't want to blame that on him. That would be quite unfair. Once again, they're trying to coordinate that here, but this time at their range, not hitting his hook. The bot lane is still being pressured, and there's also that Siege Giant camp to consider. And in the mid lane, they lost the keep already. So just like that, 2 keeps are down, and the one last keep that they have is on half health. So all of a sudden, we're having Beat Our Bakers or BOB in a really good position here, compared to what happened in the early game where they really struggled. But now they are in a solid spot and they are trying to utilize that. The 16 talent, of course, for their opponent, for King Green, gave them Stone Form. In this case, also the Blessed Hammer. Another hook at the stun, but a cleanse faster. Wow, that was a really fast cleanse. That was a super fast cleanse here. And they are disengaging. They are disengaging immediately with the projectile here, especially since, of course, that Phoenix is also helping with that. Another good hit by Azmodan, but not too much damage just yet in this case. Also not utilizing the Black Pool. So yeah, 16 versus 18. Pretty cool game here. I'm really liking this. We had so many different matches here today already with, on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and I'm really liking what we're seeing here. A lot of different matches, different games in the sense of how the team compositions worked, in sense of the synergy that we had between the heroes and also the flow of the game itself. Right now, 42,000 damage for Azmodan. Kaelthas will have to put in some overtime to really contest this, but in the late game he could make that happen. Azmodan, Snow is looking for an opportunity to maybe hit another 3-point throw. We have the lanes pushing. The bot lane is, of course, the focus of attention now. Oh, jumps away, but gets maybe dropped after all. Too late, the heal. Ancestral healing just not coming into play. And this is exactly the game that BOB has to play here. And they played well. They played really well. So right now, they're doing exactly what they have to do, getting those kills in, utilizing Stitches as much as they can. And 376 stacks is definitely... This is putting the pain into, or the fear into the heart of the enemy. But it's not enough to really make them run scared, because Azmodan needs a bit more than that, and he's currently working exactly towards that. Having the 400 stacks is definitely also a step into the right direction. The problem is that there's still another boss on the map and they just went straight for that. And there's just no rotation happening. They're pushed so far in that it's very difficult for King Green to leave their base right now. They are struggling with this. We have stacks taken everywhere. The boss is going to try and put some pressure on the core, and of course you all know what that means. Oh, Web Weaver is descending. Very nice move by Nurok. That was an important one, because the only thing that at this point BOB has to do. Nurok has to be careful that he gets away, but the only thing that that BOB has to do is move down to the bot lane and try to drop the keep while the boss is attacking the core, and Kinguin has to defend, and that's what they're trying to do. And the Web Weavers are going to help a lot with this. They're going to help a lot with this right now. So at this point, we're having them already starting to push back. Over here, the boss is getting lasered. All shall burn. Yes, there we have him. But over to the bot lane, we see that push against the keep. This is what they want. Get Head moving into the banelings, just eating that damage and saying like, alright, I'm gonna tank this for now. There's already damage to the core, but they get the boss. 83% still ready on the core, and they push them back. And of course the Web Weavers are pushing the lanes right now, and that's the most important part. The one thing that you really have to keep in mind is that there is not a single fort that has been destroyed just yet. Not one. Not even a tower. Nothing. Not a single structure. And now, with 5 heroes, they are moving out onto the map. But now the next problem is hitting them. Level 20 is ready for BOB. Level 20 is there, and just with that, we have now a much, much tankier setup. And also, of course, an additional rewind here, which will help Tyrande in these fights a lot. Down here, as you can see, the pressure in the mid lane. Stun attempt, and they get it. Kaelthas again, the heal too late. Nebsa today just really unlucky, or really late in general with those ancestral healings. So many of them have been super close, but they lose 2 heroes here, and they might have lost much more than that. Because right now, BOB, they are smelling blood in the waters. They're moving in. Nazeebo, the stun attempts. Everybody in full retreat. Harmony! Is he going to get another stun in something? A hook, a jump, and Gerd is moving back. A good hit here by Snow, but can they defend the core? I am not sure, to be honest with you. Only 3 heroes alive against 5, and Snow has only 1 hit every 10 seconds. They're trying to go for Nazeebo, but there's no shields on the core any longer. They're trying to get Zagara. Zagara blinking away right into Nebsa. Nebsa is going for the damage here, attempting to at least. Ice block already being used on the side off. Yes, they kill Nazeebo. They kill Zagara. A lot of the damage is gone. They won't be able to drop it. They will not be able to drop it. Everybody dead and dying. Snitch is about to die here as well. Is trying. No, he goes down. The 3-point throw, and Thero Angel is the last one. Get is on the run. Bakery, of course, is back thanks to Redemption. 1 stun, 2 stuns, 3 stuns. They get him. They go for Thero. They try to get everybody here. 40% on the core, and we have Kinguin in full force, moving in, getting stun after stun. Relentless is keeping Thero alive, at least for now. The level 20 talents are also finally in play on the side of Kinguin. They are not following Stitches. They go for the structures. They have the time window that they were hoping for, and they go straight in with it. They are rocking the 5th circle now on level 20. We're having the first storm shield here. Oh my god, like that attack at the core, and it didn't really work out for them. Just like that, Kinguin is moving in once again through the mid lane. But just look at all these waves just crushing in against the core. They have to defend. They have to send somebody back. They cannot just simply sit there and let this happen. The keep at the bot lane is already about to die. The Web Weavers are finally starting to move in, and that helps, of course. Nebsa, they get the Web Weavers, and just like that, they move back. But over here, they were not even able to drop the wall. Oh my god, like what a turn there. 20 versus 20 now, but this is not over yet. It's looking grim. I'm not gonna lie there. It's looking really grim, but still, this is kinda interesting what we're currently seeing there. By the way, thanks to all these ancestral healings that were just barely missed, we have Rhaegar with less heal than Uther. That shouldn't really happen in a 22-minute long game, but he got so unlucky with a lot of those ancestral healings that he was trying to throw in that he missed, I think, 3 or 4 of them. That's, of course, a huge chunk of healing that he missed out. So currently, Uther is actually ahead, and that shouldn't happen. Neps is not going to be happy about that at all, I can tell you that much. The Web Weavers are still in play. We are still looking at the Web Weavers here, and they're trying to move those in. Looking at Azmodan, once again getting a good hit. He's going to get 450 damage, and the jumping in. Gerd is in the middle of the opponent. Mittendrin schon nur dabei. Gerd goes straight for them, uses his stone form already, everything that he has. The Web Weavers up at the top lane already supplying a bit of damage. Norok has to be careful, moving back. Thero Angel with another miss there. Stormbolt, Gerd up here, not getting hit by that stun. They're trying to go for the keep, they need a keep, they're trying to get it. But again, Snow with the damage. He supplies the damage for the team right now, a lot of it. He has 456 stacks. He needs only a few more to have the 500 to reach the maximum here. here, but this is getting insane. They're trying to apply the pressure. They know that their core is down to 40% and they need to do something right now. They're trying to use that momentum that they already gathered a little bit earlier, but now Jaina with the shield and just barely getting away here. Oh, this hook missing 88,000 damage on the side of Azmodan. We're having him on 177,000 siege damage. Lot of works for them. Kaelthas still with 42,000 damage. He is not even on half the damage that we're seeing from Azmodan. And again, a big hit against the creep wave, and Zarmony is getting low as well. They're moving in through the mid lane. Once again, they really want that keep. It didn't suffer any damage whatsoever just now. And they're having, with 5 heroes, no trouble of sieging up on this position. We're having, again, the pressure play here. The hook, but no follow-up in this case, and another big move against Sagara. The stun, the blink gets away. Phoenix being thrown into the fray now as well, trying to zone Gary the Gargantuan, trying to help out BOB. Kinguin is still there in the middle of things, trying to go straight for another hit. They don't hit the hero though, but this pressure play that we're seeing from Kinguin, they might have to move back. Azmodan is running out of mana, and that is of course a big problem for them here right now. Oh, again the hook and the jump. It's getting away. Can they maybe go for Zarmony here? If they drop Nazebo, that would be big, but they cannot really do it. Looking at the gems, 37 against 16. Nobody really has gems. Got no time for that shit. In this case, Gadamhead moving back. Nuruk and Vidum, Nepsa, everybody's just moving away for now. We have once again the attempt to just turn around here. Here comes the Putrid Bile, Unstoppable already being used on the side of Nuruk. Oh my god, this game. They're moving straight to the star for the Phoenix. Is there the hook? The hook against Nuruk. He doesn't have his straight anymore. He doesn't have his straight. He gets the heal this time. It's ready. Nepsa with the last second heal. Oh my god, I think he was probably really happy and relieved about this one. But what a dynamic in this game all of a sudden. You wouldn't have thought that the game would end like this, starting with the early stages. What a match here. Wow, and up at the top lane, they go for the throw pit. They go for the throw pit, and this time Kinguin is there, and BOB is rushing away. They know that this is just not gonna happen. Here comes a quick Stormbolt. Gat is there. They see what's going on, but the hook! The hook! No! The kill against Kaelthas! The kill against Kaelthas! That's what they needed! That's what they're waiting for! And they get the stun against Gat as well. Once again, we have Kinguin in full retreat. Snow in the back is trying to wait for another quick orb that he can use. Maybe a drop against Uther. Can they drop Uther? Can they drop Nazebo? Oh, they don't hit them. They take down Gary. Gary is dead. Gary is dead, but so is Jaina. Jaina is down. Gary the Gargantuan dying, but none of the heroes. And another quick stun combination, and boom! Just like that, Rega is dead. The GG well played already dropped, and we are seeing BOB advancing to the final over Kinguin. Bakery gets killed in the end. Oh, can they defend? Can they defend? No way, no, they cannot. This is game, ladies and gentlemen. Tomb of the Spider Queen, the last orb doesn't even hit home, and this is it. We have BOB in the finals, taking down Kinguin in the semis.
Wow, pretty sick game that we saw there. Super back and forth. At the beginning, it really looked like they were able to win it right away. It was actually kind of funny to see how often Snitch and his Tyrande missed his stun. It took him a bit of time to get warmed up, and then in the later stage of the game, that's really though where he was able to shine with those stuns and get them in. But this composition is probably one that they haven't played in quite a long time. As I already mentioned before the game started, it's not a composition that is really popular these days anymore. But it was really great to just like see how all of a sudden had this complete shift in momentum, and just both teams trying to go for that one team fight that would allow them to finally turn things around here. So a pretty cool last game that we had on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the video here. A bit of a special video right now, a lot of Tomb of the Spider Queen matches. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. As I said, I love casting the map, and I love especially the Azmodan compositions that we saw here, and of course that last map in particular was pretty cool. If you liked it as well, make sure that you give the video a thumbs up on YouTube, and guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that sub button, share the video with friends if you have a couple of friends that want to get into the competitive scene and want to get to know most of the teams, like the players that we have in the European scene here. And I'm going to see you next time with more Heroes of the Storm content on Khaldor TV. So have a good day, guys. Bye bye.